Hello friends, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Fran and this is Journal with Fran. Today we are already filming March's Currently Inked. So, obviously February flew by. It is the shortest month of the year, but just generally I feel like this year is just flying by. But anyways, today we are going to fill in March's Currently Inked page. And as you can see here, I have my Currently Inked page ready. I am in a Sterling Ink B6 daily planner, but I'm using this planner as my daily journal. So I use the month overview page to put down my Currently Inked, and it's been really fun so far this year. So here we are. I do want to flip through very quickly my daily pages. I unfortunately attempted to film a quote-unquote plan with me where I laid down all my stickers, but I failed to press record, so I only have like 1 minute of footage, and I just felt like obviously this is not laying down stickers is not something I can do again. So I'm just quickly flipping through all the pages here. The kits that I use are journaling kits or journaling pages from Letters to Apollo and Sadie's stickers. So the reason I wanted to flip through those pages is because my strategy for picking inks for the month are based on what sticker kits I'm using and what pens and inks I feel like will complement those stickers. So to kick off Currently Inked, oh my gosh, I'm stumbling over words, my apologies. Every month I have a different pen with the same black ink. So instead of swatching it in my little ink bottle, I just decided I'm gonna write it up top which pen I'm using, because the ink is always gonna be the same. Unless I'm using like a Sailor ink cartridge or like any ink cartridge, the black ink is always gonna be my Pilot Namiki Black. And so I don't feel like I need to swatch that every month. So this month, my black ink pen is going to be my TWSBI Eco Smoke Rose Gold with an extra fine nib. So now we move on to the quote-unquote special inks for the month. But to start off, to no surprise, I am going to continue on with my TWSBI Eco Creme Rose Gold, and this one is inked up with Lennon Toolbar Brown Sugar. I feel like brown sugar is becoming like my new black in the sense that it's kind of like, if I don't want to use one of the bright colors, I just default to brown sugar, because like at first glance it kind of looks like a black, but if you look really closely or once the ink dries, you can see the brown shading in the ink. So I feel like because it's like a dark color, it's also a neutral brown, it just works with almost any page in my journal. So I decide for the third month in a row we're gonna leave brown sugar in this pen, and it is also another TWSBI Eco in extra fine. And I don't know, maybe I will challenge myself to try a different ink next quarter with this pen, but we'll see. All right, moving on. If you've been watching videos on my channel, this one is no surprise to you all. This is the TWSBI Eco Espresso Bronze, and I did a brown ink exploration with this last week, and I do have the same ink in here that I chose in my brown inks exploration video, and this ink is the IWI Colors of Nature ink called White Dew. And so this ink is like a brighter brown. I'd say it leans more towards like, I'm like, what am I trying to say? Like a I don't know the type of wood that I'm like picturing in my mind, but it's like, obviously it's a lighter brown than brown sugar, and I guess orange undertones. Like if you look at the ink swatch and you look at the color of the pen in the light of my ring light, I just feel like it's like that brighter milky brown. So I wanted to balance out the dark brown with a lighter brown just to have two neutrals in the lineup. All right, next, another familiar pen if you've been watching my recent videos. This ink is the Dominant Industry Seaweed, and I have this one inked up in my Kaweco Student, and this is the 60s Swing in the green color. And I have a new pen day video for this, and then I also have a separate ink exploration video for this just to find a green ink I wanted to use. And so Seaweed is the same ink that I chose in my ink exploration video. So if you watch that video, this pen and ink combo is going to be no surprise to you. I'm going to give it a shot. I definitely wanted a green ink for March because I feel like March, I think of St. Patrick's Day, I think of the beginning of spring, and so I wanted to start bringing in some brighter, vibrant colors, but still colors that in my mind I would consider neutral and very versatile with the types of sticker kits that I have. A lot of sticker kits that I have green florals tied to them, so I feel like this green would also be a good match on almost every page in the month of March. All right, and so for the last pen in my currently inked, I've got the Pilot Kakuno. This is the dreamy blue of the new Madarome series that released, or the Madarome like colorway pen set. Anyways, I originally had black ink in here, and so I emptied it and I cleaned it out. And this month we are going to test out the Kobe ink number 81, and it's Fuke Urban Blue. So I did attempt this ink in the winter, I think. I don't think I was filming Currently Inks back in November, December, but I did try it in like a Jinhao pen, and I didn't like it. But I did want to add some blues in this month's Currently Inked because if you had noticed when I was flipping through the pages, I did have some like blue florals in some of the kits, and so I wanted to have a blue colored option. And then I also don't think I didn't have a blue in February for sure, but I think in January my blue pen was my Ink Institute, my Shui Yang Forest that I always have inked up in my Winter Rain Pro Gear Slim. So I just wanted to try a blue with this Pilot Kakuno. This is in a fine nib, and yeah, I'm really liking the Japanese fine nibs along with like the TWSBI extra fine nibs. They're just, yeah, I feel like they're all consistently about the same thickness and inkiness, and so I feel like these 4-5 pens are going to be a good fit for me this month. So I'm excited to see how this ink fares along with all of the other inks. So there you have it, my 5 pens for the month of March. And I'm pretty sure I do a close-up after this little video clip so we can take a closer look at all the pens. Honestly, it's kind of giving me fall vibes, but I have to remind myself not to think too much about like, oh, the month of March should look like these colors, because that's not always true. When I do look at the ink swatches, when I look at all the different pages of sticker kits that I use, I feel like it's going to be a good month. And so here I pulled out my new swatch cards that I have for all of my inks. The ink droplets indicate that it's a sample, and then the ink bottle index card indicates that I have a bottle of that ink. So here I go, I'm just flipping through some pages and kind of showing you why I chose the colors I chose. I feel like even with these blue colored kits, I feel like I can use any of the 4 pens and it would complement. So I'm really excited to not feel like this sticker kit can only match with these inks. But also, there's freedom to not always be so matchy-matchy. So yeah, super low pressure. And before I end today's video, I just also want to do a recap of my February Currently Inked, which I forgot to do at the beginning of the video, but definitely I struggled with the pink and the blue inks last month. The pinks, it was just not working with the Sailor Fine nib, so I switched out to another a Sailor Steel nib. It still didn't work for me, so then I switched the inks. And then for my Kaweco Iridescent Pearl, it just like wasn't working. I didn't like how the ink was coming out, so I tried to move to another ink. I think I used Manyo Fuji, and I still didn't like it. So after the one day that I used the Kaweco pen, I don't think I used it again for the rest of the month. And I switched back to my Sailor Pro Gear Slim Winter Rain. So you can see my little ink summaries there. Surprisingly, not surprisingly, my top pen was the TWSBI Eco with brown sugar. I defaulted to that more often than not. But surprisingly, my second most used pen ended up being my Pilot Kakuno with the, I think, Sailor Shikiori Yutsubame ink. So that nice darker reddish pink ink was runner up. So that was really cool to see the stats for February, and I'm excited to see how March goes. So let me know in a comment down below if we are matching with any pens or inks this month. And yeah, excited to hear your thoughts. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this content. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you at the next one, my friends. Bye!